It's the end of the work week, holiday weekend, and that means time for Friday Flicks.
Patrick Beatty joining us with a breakdown of 3 new movies out today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Welcome back. It's good to see you. And I mean, we've already been talking during the break because we're excited about these. Val Kilmer.
He's back in the news.
This isn't Top Gun.
No, not Top Gun, but that will be coming out soon. Top Gun 2, that's going to be coming. However, Val Kilmer is doing a documentary about his entire life and all of the footage stuff he's collected over the years of his career.
We have a clip. Take a look.
I spent decades finding my voice.
I was a perfectly normal person.
Through characters.
I gave you about 4 takes with some different voices.
Through movies.
One of the things they buy for all that money, your life for a period of time.
There's your Top Gun reference. So this is basically him narrating his life and where he is now currently. A lot of people don't really know he's not been in the spotlight for things because he underwent throat cancer. And he's recovered now, but the recovery left his throat pretty messed up, so he has to kind of plug a hole to be able to speak. And this was, the documentary kind of talks about this clip right here with him being Mark Twain just before the diagnosis, and he was probably at his heights in his career to be able to make something so great with that role. But it also talks about his time with Batman, his time with Top Gun, and what his career was, and what he did to try to get where he was today.
Is that his voice we were just hearing?
So the voice of this, it's kind of interesting. It's his son, Jack Kilmer, who's voicing it, and he just sounds almost exactly like Val Kilmer.
Exactly like his dad.
Exactly, yeah. And it's just fascinating to hear an actor's journey, basically about like the roles you can get, the roles you don't, what effort you put into the stuff that just maybe never happens.
I forgot all the movies he's been in. I forgot about Batman.
Oh, and all of the stuff, endless tapes that he would send to like Stanley Kubrick and like named directors of him doing different takes of stuff for movies, and like he has everything behind the scenes of like Kevin Bacon walking around and stuff. Like it was very fascinating to watch. It is sad. You have to kind of like, it's a little sad to watch, but it's also beautiful. So I would definitely recommend checking out if you like documentaries.
Oh,
What'd you give it?
For me, I gave it an 8 out of 10, I believe.
That's a pretty darn good grade, everybody. That is on Amazon Prime, and it just came out today. Now the movie that you say you weren't that impressed with.
Yeah, well, it might already feel a little old to me. Okay, I'll leave.
Take a look at the clip.
The news from the other side of the Atlantic. AFC Richmond announced the hiring of their new manager, American football coach Ted Lasso.
You're an American who's now in charge of the football.
Should we start with Ted Lasso? Because we showed you we were going to talk about Old.
Or we could just describe Old and have it be with the Ted Lasso clip.
You don't want a
that
clip
would be fun.
of Old. What did you think about it?
Okay, so Old, this is M. Night Shyamalan. He's come with a new movie. It's a new horror mystery, and they're on this island. A group of people are on vacation, and this island is mysterious. That seems to be aging the kids rapidly, the adults. Nobody knows really what's going on, and that's kind of an M. Night Shyamalan movie. You don't know what's happening. There's going to be a twist. You always know there will be a twist on these films, and whether or not he's moved forward in his career to continue on with stuff like Glass or Split, or if he's regressed to The Happening, I would lean towards he's regressed a little to The Happening with this movie. I really didn't like this movie. I'll be honest. The main issue is just the confusion. The dialogue is horrible. Like some of the stuff that people say, it's like no human would ever say that to a person, especially if like someone else just died in a corner, or like in the corner over there. But like, how are you? What's your occupation? They're just asking normal questions.
What is the synopsis, though?
It's just this beach that they don't know exactly what's going on. They all have these certain medical conditions, and they don't tell you much else in the trailer.
Speeding up. Like
yeah, it's just the age progression, which is terrifying. And the concepts are terrifying. And the visual storytelling with some of the stuff when you see the aging and stuff.
Well, I saw the trailer and I was, you didn't like it though. This was not one.
Story-wise and the execution just did not work for me. However, concept, and I think maybe it's based off of a graphic novel. Maybe that's a little better, so maybe check that out.
Well, it sounds disturbing, but this one you really like, Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. This is what I watched right after Old, so I could get a nice shot of serotonin.
Cleansing.
Take a look at the clip.
The news from the other side of the Atlantic. AFC Richmond announced the hiring of their new manager, American football coach Ted Lasso.
You're an American who's now in charge of a football club despite possessing very little knowledge of the game.
I like Jason Sudeikis so much.
Isn't he just kind of like, anytime you see him, he's the nicest person you could talk to.
Was on Saturday Night Live for years and now has found success with this is the second season of Ted Lasso.
Second season, and funny enough, this started with him just doing a bit for a sports correspondence thing. That's where Ted Lasso originated, and he spun it into a series, which ended up being really good. After 5 days of it being on Apple TV Plus, they greenlit it for a second season. And I have to say, if you like stuff like Grace and Frankie, or I don't know if I can say the first part, but Blank Creek.
Yeah, that's what you have to
That's
say.
what you do.
Okay, unless they put it up on the screen or something.
Patrick, thank you so much. We've got a lot of watching to do this weekend, so some really good movies,
And
at
don't
least two
watch
of them.
until you see
right?
his reviews.
Yeah.
Everybody on our website, abc4.com/GTU. That's where you can find Patrick's information.
All right, right there. Well, thank you so much. A